Hey everyone, and welcome to Tony for A Hex Upon You. Tony for you. Existing in the modern times, you would be forgiven for thinking all religions are pretty boring. The popular ones all boil down to very similar teachings and practices at the end of the day, barring some unique rituals and dietary restrictions. And don't get me wrong, religion is great and all, but it's missing a little something, wouldn't you say? And so there exists a subset of people that cling back to the old style of religion, the belief in sorcery and magic. Modern-day witches, if you will. These people follow the religion known as Wicca. Having been established pretty recently and with no overarching authority, this religion is a mystery to most people. But let's try to learn what we can about them so we don't get cursed. Without any further ado, let's talk about the religion of Wicca. Wicca, translating to wise people in Old Scots English, or sometimes referred to as the craft, is a modern pagan religion believed to have been established in the mid-20th century. Being so new and with, as I said before, no central spiritual leader, there is very little official work that can be confirmed as definitely or definitely not a Wicca practice. There is, however, an initial outline of the belief system by the earliest known practitioners. These individuals, Doreen Valiente, the researcher, and Gerald Gardner, known for starting one of the earliest witch covens in London, disseminated books published in secret throughout occult circles, which in themselves spawned many subsects and different lines of thought, becoming oral tradition. Before we get into Wicca proper, let's explain some common misconceptions of the modern pagan belief system. First, Wicca is not tied to any other religion. Their practitioners, men and women both, identify as witches, and it has nothing to do with the Abrahamic God or Christian devil figures. Yes, despite them being called witches, members of the Wicca faith believe in completely separate gods than any other modern religion, despite the immediate correlation you might see to the witch trials conducted all over Europe to root out satanic witches. No worshipping of Lucifer here. That's Satanism you're thinking of. The second misconception was partially answered by the previous statements. Many believe the Wiccan faith to be inherently female, but that isn't necessarily true. It's only one specific subsect I will talk more about later. Many can, and have, argued that the roots and initial idea for Wicca was the proliferation of utilitarian beliefs, such as environmentalism, rebellion, and equality. Though it isn't quite as simple as that. The practitioners believe in two main gods, male and female, each with exceptional power, with a unisex term to refer to themselves. So, no matter who you are, you can become a witch if you really want to. Alright, now on to the beginnings of the religion. The traces of Wicca can be tied back all the way to the 1920s through the publication of one Margaret Murray. Murray found what she referred to as a witch cult, as outlined in her seminal work, The Witch Cult in Western Europe, a study in anthropology. She posited that groups of witches still gather in covens to worship a being known as the Horned God, along with a myriad of other rituals and ceremonies. This meant that a pagan religion had survived thousands of years past the witch trials to the modern day, worshipped in secret and potentially practiced all across Western Europe. Now, it's important to note that scholars who reviewed Margaret's findings were not convinced. When cross-referenced with contemporary texts and historical records of the witch trials, there is very little evidence that these women were practicing any old pagan religion at all. Even modern Wicca believers aren't necessarily convinced by Margaret's findings and view her publications as more so myth and legend rather than historical fact. One person who was very much convinced, however, was one Gerald Gardner. Now, Gerald was really a prolific person in all things occult. He joined a Freemason lodge in his early years, but later moved to Highcliffe in southern England. Now, Highcliffe was located very close to a large forest, now a national park called the New Forest. What a name. Now, one day in 1939, he came across a local coven of witches within these woods and was said to have been initiated into their religion. It was then he became obsessed with the ideas put forward by the previously mentioned Margaret Murray, and through extensive study of her work and communion with the local witches in the forest, he published many books, such as A Goddess Arrives, High Magic's Aid, and Witchcraft Today, the last of which had its intro written by Margaret Murray herself. Much like Margaret's theories, Gerald Gardner's origins were questioned as well, with many believing his encounter with the witches of Highcliffe to be completely made up, just to lend credibility to his new burgeoning religion. But Gerald's past, unlike Murray's publishings, were not factually discredited, but simply difficult to believe. With that said, many people were convinced of Gerald's story, including one Philip Heselton, who was one of the top biographers of Gardner's life. So, who's to say? Maybe it is true. What isn't up for questioning, though, is that Gardner was an incredibly important and influential figure in British occult circles. The man founded his own coven in London after World War II and was personally acquainted with the Aleister Crowley, founder of another religion known as Thelema. As time went on, Wicca became a phenomenon, proliferating into hundreds of thousands of members worldwide. But that's enough backstory. Let's talk about what these modern-day witches actually believe in. Wicca holds a duotheistic belief system, which is the practice of worshipping two equal gods. One god is male, being the horned god, and one god is female, referred to as the triple goddess. These beings are also sometimes simply referred to as the Lady and the Lord. The female goddess has a strange name though, right? Well, the reason for her title is that, in fact, she holds three aspects within her. Those being the maiden, the mother, and the crone. In fact, both of these gods are referred to as great gods, which means they are a singular representation of many different aspects. Gerald Gardner represented these spiritual beings as masculine and feminine archetypes that serve as a basis for humanity since the Neolithic era. Though, as stated before, the theory of Wicca being a single continuous religion surviving since ancient times has been hotly debated. Some Wicca scholars believe in a more monotheistic structure, with only the goddess being a central figure, while others are polytheistic, worshipping seemingly countless spiritual beings that bestow knowledge to the witch. Actually, the truth about Wicca is that there is always an exception to anything and everything, since, as mentioned in the beginning, there is no central religious figure or text, which led to quite literally countless interpretations. Some even go so far as to say you don't need to have any belief in the supernatural at all to be a witch, which, in my opinion, kind of defeats the purpose of having a religion in the first place. But whatever. Each incarnation of the gods governs a different aspect and represents humanity's many natures. The mother goddess first and foremost governs fertility, sexuality, and stability. The maiden represents enchantment, youth, and expansion, and the crone represents wisdom, death, and the ending of all things. The horned god represents all stereotypically male aspects, such as strength and physicality, but most notably, while the goddess concerns herself with humanity and life on Earth, the horned god governs that which comes next, the afterlife. There is also a form of karmic balance in the world of Wicca as well, with their rule of three, which is the belief that whatever energy you put into the world, you will receive back threefold. Now onto the really interesting part of Wicca, the magic and ceremonies. That is what witches are known for, right? Magical incantations and intricate rituals, right? Well, the truth of Wicca magic is not so grandiose. Much like everything else in Wicca, the thought behind magic varies with whoever you may talk to. Some witches believe magic to be the harnessing of natural energy within the universe to enact your will on the physical realm, while others view it as simply the original form of prayer, speaking your will into reality through a magical incantation instead of a recited verse from a holy text. Many atheistic witches have ceremonies and magical spells that are considered their version of Hindu yoga or Buddhist chanting, with repetitive recitations of certain phrases while clearing your mind, or relaxed meditation. There are commonly agreed to be around 4 general sects of Wiccans. Gardnerian Wicca, which is derived from Gerald Gardner himself, mainly focused on upholding the traditional practices of the supposedly ancient belief he drew inspiration from. They worship both the great goddess and the horned god, as well as holding lineage in very high regard. Alexandrian Wicca, formed by Alex Sanders, an initiate of Gardner who formed his own sect in the 1960s. This offshoot is less focused on strict tradition and more open to interpretation and individual practice. Dianic Wicca is the widely known feminist form of Wicca, which only worship the goddess and reject the idea that men and women can lead in the religion. Their belief is that only women can truly understand the new wave rebellious nature of Wicca, starkly opposed to the more rigid patriarchal structure of modern religions. And lastly, eclectic Wicca, which is less a sect of Wicca and more so a set of people that see the religion as a way of life that encourages experimentation with the occult and spirituality as a whole. with a lot less focus on covens and magic and more individual enrichment of the soul. Regardless of whichever form of magic you practice, be it choreographed dance under a horned altar or solo meditation in a dark room, all Wiccans are said to follow one central rule pertaining to their craft, known as the Wiccan Rede. This is a very long verse, but I'll recite a few key lines from it. Bide the Wiccan laws we must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Live and let live, fairly take and fairly give. When ye have a true need, hearken not to others' greed. With a fool no season spend, lest ye be counted as his friend. Merry meet and merry part. Bright the cheeks and warm the heart. Mind the threefold law you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. True in love ever be, lest thy lovers false to thee. 8 words the Wiccan Rede fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will. The most key takeaway and message is truly the last line, which is essentially do whatever you like as long as you don't harm anyone else. Simple but effective in giving a rule to the religion known for its many exceptions. Now, to actually learn these spells, the main text that is to be passed down is known as the Book of Shadows. This grimoire was created by Gerald Gardner in his original coven, and at first had spells that were heavily inspired by other occult practices at the time, but was later fleshed out by his high priestess Doreen Valiente, whom you might remember me mentioning in the very beginning of the video. These incantations are meant to be a secret and were rites of passage to copy by hand into the witch's very own personal spellbook. But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask, copies of the Book of Shadows have been made public over the many years. But to save myself from any potential hexes or curses from the odd witch, I'll leave any further delving into the topic of magical spells to those who are interested in researching further. You never know who might be watching. What is more open for discussion is the Sabbats, which are commonly misinterpreted as midnight gatherings of witches to enact evil magic, but are in fact days of religious reverence falling on the seasonal changes of the northwestern climate, with these festivals being Mabon and Ostara on the autumn and spring equinox, Yule and Litha for the winter and summer solstices, and a holiday in between each of them, totaling 8 festivals over the course of a year. With these festivals having such a close relation to the seasons, it became popular to tie Wicca as a religion to nature and the constant cycles of the earth. Much like how the goddess represents a woman in many stages of her life to be reborn again, the seasons represent the earth and all living creatures in 4 distinct seasons, with a beginning in spring and an end in winter, only to revive once again for the cycle to continue. The divine will of the Mother Goddess and the inherent power of the earth lead all who wish to call upon their strength to do good in the world. So maybe we should all practice some magic and make the world a better place. Well, that covers the basic outline and explanation of Wicca. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, or if there are any practitioners of the faith, share some more information I may not have gone over. Special thanks to Andre Vinicius da Silva Valens, Anton, Arctic Mirror, Kalos, Goose Kebab, Jeter Michelle, Just a Middleman, Matt M, Patty123, Stuart Ash, The Digital Dutchman, Video Gamer 75, and many more for supporting the channel on Patreon. If you'd like to support, check the link in the description below. Thanks for watching this modern witchcraft breakdown, and I'll see you in the next Tony for You. Have a good one.